Hey everyone, want to give you a heads up. We already did a recording before this and we released it before this.
The spoiler-free one.
Exactly. Go check that out if you want no spoilers.
Yeah, this one is not that.
So go ahead, go leave now, do it now.
Will have spoilers, pre-warned.
Exactly. And at this moment, if you are still here and don't care about the spoilers, well, welcome back to the It Couple, and let's talk about Endgame.
You have now joined the It Couple podcast show. Let me introduce our hosts, Laura and Xavier.
Hello, everyone. This is Laura.
And this is Xavier.
Welcome back.
Yes, we're doing spoilers this time. You've been warned. You've heard the preview music. If you're here at this point and you did want spoilers, this is your last chance. And gone. So the movie ends. Captain Planet comes out and saves the day. You're messed up now. You have no idea how that happened, but it's told you the ending. Yes, Captain Planet comes in. I'm lying. So,
like, who's Captain Planet?
You actually don't know who Captain Planet is?
You're surprised by this.
Not really. Not really.
Is this really a person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's Captain Tears. You know.
I mean, I just recently learned.
Fire!
I recently learned about Captain Marvel. I didn't even know this person was a thing.
Yes, it was on like all the cartoon shows back in the day. Captain Planet. Oh my goodness. Oh, anyway, before we go into that one, we're not talking about Captain Planet, or Captain America, or Captain Marvel, or Captain Underpants, or Captain Crunch. We're talking about Endgame.
Well, technically, we are talking about Captain America and Captain Marvel. They're in Endgame.
Okay, enough with the technicalities.
That's what I live for.
Yeah, that technically is. So, if you heard part of what we said on the spoiler-free, because I know some people will go listen to the spoiler-free version, like I do, and then go to the spoiler, because it's like a part 1 and part 2. So, we're on the same page. If you're watching this, you probably already listened to the spoiler-free, see what we're talking about. And then now you're here, and I want to hear everything we have to say about the movie. We can actually get into details. That honestly is hard to do because, as many of you have already seen, or if you're just about to hear for some strange reason, the trailer that was put out, everything you saw advertised was pretty much just the first bit of the movie.
Well, not even the very first bit of it. They didn't show. Talk about that at all in the trailers. So
yeah,
it was just kind of like after credits or the opening sequence rolls, and then the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it was just it really kind of like, well, I'll put it this way: when that first scene we talked about where it hit really heavy,
yeah,
I thought it was the beginning to a trailer. I was thinking the guy who plays Hawkeye, and I cannot think of his name, and I will not look it up. And though he's an excellent actor, I thought at the beginning this was a trailer to another movie that he was going to be in. He's sitting there, he's with his family, they're playing, and then,
and it wasn't until I was like, no, they're not going to do this.
I was out of the blue. I was still thinking of the trailer when you told me that. I was thinking like, what are you talking about? And then it hit me. Oh shit! They're going to. Oh, it happened. It is like, pretty much
we go see Hawkeye, who sat out Infinity Wars to stay with his family, and we get to see him with his family right before the whole Thanos snap happens.
Yeah, and
almost sounds like I say the famous snap.
The famous
Thanos. I don't know. Whatever. Anyhow.
Something else. Also, I'm not sure if I remember correctly from. One of the previous movies where I think it was the one where when I cannot think of his name, leads S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. Cannot think of his name. Why can I think of his
Fury?
name? Yes, Nick Fury. When he was about to die, or there was some kind of scene there when they were hanging out and hiding out with his family, and and he rejected to kind of help. He wants to stay away, and that kind of played into like this next scene of where he's with his family, teaching his daughter archery, and then all of a sudden they're all gone because he dropped everything, and that was even being with S.H.I.E.L.D. for his family. So this was a big hit. So they opened up the movie by punching you in the face Like, okay, I want you to really grab your heartstrings and your tears and get ready to just pour them all out. Because I think that's what they were going for. And I think they achieved that with some of the very watery eyes that were in the theater.
Yeah, it certainly was. I was like, they didn't need to show me this. Like, I got the picture. I got the memo that, when we saw the little bits of him in the trailer, that, he had lost his family. I had figured that out. And then they had to show it to us. Like, really?
Well, it was like, like, did you really feel that scene? Let me show you what it will look like.
Really see them go up into the little ashes either. Like, he turned and there were ashes, but he, of course, had no clue what that meant. And he's like running around going like, where are you?
I thought they did it very, I know you don't like the scene, but I thought they did it very well, like very well. To get the impact, you turn around and they're already gone. That last, like, you said, hey, I'm going to grab this. You turn around and they're gone. Oh man, that was just, whoo, let's stop talking about it. Cause I think people probably had enough of hearing about that one scene. Next, I think they cut straight to, what happened with Tony Stark. Yes. And it felt so quick. Like, we're already here. Like, there was not much else going on before. I didn't know how they were going to pad out 3 hours plus, of film. And then, like, it seems like all of a sudden we're rushing. So we're now out in space. We're with Tony Stark. And Nebula's around helping him out. I almost forgot about Nebula. Like, yeah, that's right. She didn't poof or anything. She's just, hanging out with Tony Stark. And they're working together, trying to patch up the ship where they can.
Survive.
Yeah, Nebula's being really helpful. She's not speaking much, but she is seemingly kind-ish. She's got to do what she's got to do.
They're playing the finger football thing.
Oh yeah, that was a good scene. Like, and it's still her playing finger football, like taking it over. She looks
like she was about to like stab him in the eye or something.
Yeah,
I really think he probably let her win.
It's
like the in Star Wars where you should let Chewie win.
Yeah, Chewie always wins. Yes. You wonder what happened. Like, no, you know what? That was an illegal score, so I lost immediately. Yeah. That's what happened. Oh my goodness. So we get there, and then all of a sudden, and I know there's going to be some complaints because what do you call it? A Deus Ex Machina, which I think is part of Marvel. It's always been part of Marvel. All of a sudden, there's this floating lady that glows. That appears out of nowhere. It just kind of knows where they're at. And I'm pretty sure that was probably right after the beeper call. I mean, that would be the connection there.
I think she was probably on her way back, on her way to Earth, because she was off in space somewhere. Well, or maybe she did go to Earth already, and they were like, "Yeah, so can you go find a friend?"
It'd already been a few days, maybe 5 days, I think it was, because he was already, no, it's like 30 days or nearly a month, because he was like, his body had changed dramatically.
Oh, yeah. They definitely showed that aspect of it, and when he got back to Earth and stuff, and that he was just done, So yeah, like he was very depressed and weak and, hadn't been eating much and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. But he got back.
Yeah. And then, oh my goodness, so you see the kind of the crew that's left over, that they're all huddled back together, and they're trying to talk to Tony. Tony is, of course, they're trying to ask some questions, and Tony's like, I've got nothing. I got nothing for you. I don't care. I didn't get any score, whatever. And he was just, mad at everything, kind of just, blaming everybody for what's happening, or what had happened, and just kind of like he was done with it.
But I guess that's kind of when like Captain Marvel was like, all right, I'm going after Thanos or whatever. And everybody else was like, wait, what? What? No, you wait. Okay, we're coming too.
Like, yeah. And
where is he?
And he had that door with that one scene, which looked better in the commercial than in the movie. But it kind of makes sense for where he was going to go eventually. He goes there and I like her. Like, she wants to kill him. Let's kill Thanos. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I felt like 5 minutes later, Thanos is gone.
Yeah, I know. Freaking, like, that was, like, weird. I'm going, like, all right, so where are we going from here? They just killed him, but that doesn't fix anything.
Exactly. And I think that they needed that moment in the movie, just like, all right, welcome to, like, the first 20 minutes of the 3-hour-long movie, and Thanos is dead.
Yeah.
Aren't you wondering what we're going to do now?
Well, and then, you know, there was, like, I remember that scene from the trailer where he was like, oh, you know, you couldn't live with your failure, and where did that bring you? Right back to
here.
me, you know, and it's like, but he didn't say that, and he's dead. So, huh? You know what? How? When does he come back? How does he get his head back?
And, you know, I do believe there were certain scenes, and I may have to rewatch Infinity War, but he may have just been like, they may have just showed like one side of his face in Infinity War, because you didn't get to see the damage that the snapping his fingers on there did cause. Like, I don't think there was a...
Well, I think that was the second time he used it that caused it. Because remember, he used it a second time, and that's how they found him. Because he destroyed the Infinity Stones. So, yeah, I think that's what caused it. Like, the first time he's strong enough that, I mean... We've watched all of them come after him, and they had a hard time bringing him down. So he's pretty freaking strong.
Yeah.
You know, so the first time I don't think affected him, but the second time, it, like he said, it nearly killed him. You know, and so yeah. So obviously, using the Infinity Stones is dangerous.
Which we did find out a lot through this version of this film.
Yeah.
They kind of, you know, start hatching a plan. Actually, what kind of like really hit me
after they killed
after
Thanos,
5 years.
Well, after they killed Thanos, they kind of were like, well, that's it. We tried.
Yeah.
And now we have to try to move on, I guess. And yeah, 5 years later, I was like, holy shit, they let 5 years go by.
Yeah, like what like, and like I'm actually kind of glad they went that route ish.
Well,
sad.
It was. Yeah, you know, but it was really interesting as they're like going through Earth, and I'm going like, wow, it's so quiet.
Yeah, and then you have, you know, Ant-Man who pops out of you know, a van.
Yeah,
was finally stuck, and just him going back to see his daughter, and like, oh, whoa, you really grew.
I mean, well, at first, you know, he was doing this whole like, okay, what the fuck happened? Because he had no clue at this point. You know, he popped in 5 years later, but, you know, to him, he had just left. He didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
He was in a completely different place, you know? And so, yeah, he's like going around and he shows up at a memorial for all the people and, you know, and he's like, oh my God. And, you know, so the first thing that you do, especially as a parent, is my kid's name on here? You know? And then he went back home and she was there. So she survived. Which I thought that was really interesting. I think that was a good way to show us the 5-year difference that had happened. Because really, the rest of them didn't age all that much. So
yeah, I mean,
but adults don't. I mean, we don't age quite the same way kids do. You know, they grow like beans.
Exactly. It was a little girl. 5 years later, hey.
Well, she was like what, 9, 10, and now she's 14, 15. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that, I mean. Oh my goodness! Just imagine that, like, you know, 5 years later with her own daughter.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a grown girl. Hey, what? Like, well, there's so much I didn't explain. Did you do all these things? Are you still? You know, there's a lot of that would be going on.
I mean, they didn't really, you know, go at the whole him reconnecting with her all that much, you know, because now it was like, okay, I need to go find everybody else, then we need to fix this. Because, I mean, even though he still had his daughter, you know, I mean, he lost the wasp lady, you know, which he had feelings for. And they weren't really dating or anything, I don't think, but...
Yeah, I mean, actually, I can just imagine...
some sort of thing.
I mean, I think that in the future film, going beyond Endgame, eventually they're going to have to touch on just, at least with each character, being 5 years away, Wakanda's changed. Who knows in what direction? And even if half the people are back there, they're now going in after 5 years of whatever. If they were in a relationship 5 years after, that's still a lot of years.
Yeah.
There's somebody else probably now.
Oh, you know? Yeah. No, I mean, certainly they're probably going to use that I mean, they better.
Yeah, you can't skip that out. There's a lot of, I mean, that 5 year, that's a lot of change. And
yeah, but you kind of skipped most of the movie.
Okay, bring us back. Bring us back. So now Ant-Man does the scene that we all saw in the trailer where he's like, hey, open the door. And like, is that live? Like, yep, that's live. So there we go. I guess we did kind of skip over the Captain America during that 5 years. Apparently started a sort of support group for people. Yeah, actually, like talking about, how to move on and step up. So I think step up. I keep saying that, but kind of step forward and with the big changes. So yeah.
And Black Widow took over Nick Fury's, I think, position a bit.
Yeah, they even talked about like so I've started dating again.
Yeah,
and it hasn't been a saying like, yeah, dude, that's rough.
Yeah.
Now she's back. Or he's back. That's right. I'm not going to mention. Well, yeah, that's right. We're not doing spoilers. So yeah, it was same sex thing, whatever.
Yeah, actually, there was like this whole thing about it because apparently that's the first openly gay moment that they had in the Marvel universe, and it was kind of a blip.
Yep, there you go. That's what you get. It's I'm not trying to like offend or say anything about it. It was a lot of the movies hasn't been about that. There are openly gay other characters to be explored. Maybe in the future they'll actually like jump into that, and really big ones too. I
mean, they've only just recently started doing the women too. So yeah, I mean that certainly comes next. Which wasn't like Shazam, where it had one of its characters was. I
don't know.
I
don't know. But anywho, but yeah. Going on.
So everybody was just trying to move along, and then Ant-Man comes in and is like, "Hey, so let's time travel."
Yeah, and then like I like the way he introduced it to Tony Stark, which they need to get the brains.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark has a huge dilemma, and I didn't know how they would approach it at the time when I was watching the film, because I was thinking at the time, if they go back in time, you lose this person. He had a daughter. He would lose his daughter that he was growing up with. So like I can see like where that can be really torn depending on how they want to go about it. And
yeah, I mean, would you put that up to chance?
Yeah, or even also the chance if you spun time a different way, would that also mean going up against Thanos again? Because regardless of what happens, going back in time means the guy who kicked your ass, he's back in shape,
a lot,
and ready to go again.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was quite interesting. So at first Iron Man was like, "Nope, I'm sorry, I can't do this." And so they went and found the Hulk, which the Hulk is the one that we talked about before in our spoiler free, where
sexy Hulk.
Yeah.
Sexy Hulk.
I mean, I didn't really think that when I saw him.
No,
but
I didn't either, but I'm not really attracted to men.
Well, I mean, it was just like, I mean, I thought he looked interesting, because pretty much what happened is Bruce Banner and Hulk kind of became one.
They became one. He's like, except for fighting it, they found a way to kind of coincide. And there's Hulk. I love seeing the different versions of Hulk. From Ragnarok, I was like, and there's Hulk actually having his own personality kind of put in there. I was like, that's good. That's amazing. I wanted to see that Hulk, because like Hulk was his own kind of character every now and then from the comics. So that kind of coming to the MCU was amazing. And then kind of having them merge. That's not the first time that's been that way. Many times in the comic, they struggle with that because you got to keep the angry Hulk. But having them actually blend together and seeing this version of sexy Hulk,
I guess,
or hipster Hulk, or that's what you want to kind of go with.
I don't know. I kind of thought he looked more like a Dad Hulk or something, instead of Dad Bod.
I know, I give that.
It was like a Dad Hulk.
Actually, at the moment when he was there, and they're like, "Oh, you kids want to get that Hulk? Yeah, right. You want to get a picture of that man too? I don't know who he is.
He's been gone for 5 years.
Yeah, you sure? You sure that they're okay? Like, just take the dang phone. And I kind of like that little human aspect of that situation. I've actually seen him as Hulk, and It worked. It really worked.
So, but yeah, so, eventually they decide to test out this whole time travel theory, and we get a funny sort of age I don't know, whatever. When Ant-Man?
Okay, that scene, I would have to say at first, I would have thought would have been useless. I mean,
it was meant more as a humor thing, I
think. It worked. It gave the lulls. There's him turning into a baby. It did what it was supposed to do.
I thought it was pretty funny when he was like, so someone wet my pants. But, and I mean, he remembers, he was like, I'm not sure if it was baby me or me,
And actually, what did Hope say? Like, you sure this is going to work? Like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to try it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, finally, freaking Iron Man comes in there and, kind of does the thing. But, that's the weight behind that
I figured it out. We're good. Woo. That's it. That's all it took.
Exactly. I'm the genius. I know. And there's some other moments in there that's like, plot holes, but I'm okay to excuse every plot hole just because at the end result was done very well.
Yeah. So
here's what was the plan? What was the plan they came up with?
Well, part of the problem that they couldn't fix the whole what Thanos did was because Thanos also destroyed the Infinity Stones. So their idea was, well, we got to get the Infinity Stones back. How do we do that? And now that they have time travel, they can go back in time to get these said Infinity Stones. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That led to a whole bunch of like revisiting.
With a 5-year gap in between. So they knew they couldn't get the Infinity Stones. They finally had a solution to get the Infinity Stones.
Well, yeah, they only had so many of these little red dial things. I don't know what they were, but they were something made by the doctor that made Ant-Man that, he obviously is disappeared too. And so they only had so many of them, and that made sense. So they only had so many trips to get these Infinity Stones, and so their thought process was, okay, let's make as few trips as possible, because a lot of times, throughout even the Marvel movies we've seen, there's been a couple Infinity Stones all
together,
not very far apart, So that was the plan, and so we got to like go back and see some previous movies,
like somewhat hitting memory lane, just kind of like bringing back the guys from now, going back to their old previous movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, with Iron Man going back into I think it was that right at the end pose, right when they have Loki. And I'll take that drink now moment. I mean, like that's kind of cool, having the angle of what happened right after that.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, it just blinked out. But then they kind of like, okay, people walk in, they take the Tesseract, and then they kind of go about their way. And you kind of see it's like being behind scenes.
Yeah.
What actually happened.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting. And of course, as things go, it doesn't go exactly according to plan for them, And
he was the one person that says, we got to make sure it goes according to plan. We can't fail.
Yeah.
And of course, they figured out a new plan and they go from there. Now, going back to Hawkeye and
Black
Widow, their scene, which became very heavy. Because they were going after God,
I don't know it's the yellow one.
Yes. I had it up before. I'm not going to go back up and look at it because we're just going off the cuff.
The one where they had to go to some like
planet
place.
Yeah, exactly. Something. Red Skull's there.
Pretty much where Thanos killed his daughter.
So they needed
Gamora?
Gamora. So they needed another soul. Yep. And Hawkeye and I just cannot say it. I keep thinking Scarlett Johansson. Every time I say it, I keep thinking that for some reason. I don't know why, but I keep thinking of the actress name instead. Are you like that too? Am I the only one that does that? Maybe I am. Anyway,
I think a lot of people do that. Actually, like, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've watched where people who play certain characters are like, yeah, so I get called like this all the time.
Like, oh yeah, there's Iron Man. Sure, I'm Iron Man. Probably, if he goes to Starbucks, it's probably putting Iron Man, order coffee from here.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, you put too much milk. But That scene, I mean, that was really heavy because they're fighting to kill each other. Well, kill themselves, not each other.
Yeah.
To kill themselves. So like just kind of like launching missiles and like using the electricity to shock each other. And finally, it finally happens. The first lady on Marvel is gone.
Yeah.
And
superhero, I guess, because she wasn't the first lady on there, but yeah.
Well, I guess lady superhero, yes, on there. Was just there she goes, and then like still kind of carrying on with that to a person who's already broken. There's Hawkeye, lost his family, lost his best friend in the world that they went through so much together, and he has that rock, and it's like yeah.
Well, and I like his protege kind of sort of too, because like he got out of the killing lifestyle, and then he found her and got her out of the killing lifestyle. And, well, I mean, not exactly killing, whatever. The bad lifestyle.
Yes, exactly. And then he got pulled back in, and then, like, all this is happening to him. So he's just super emo at this moment.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even, like, talk about the whole Thor scene when they went to go get Thor.
Oh, my goodness. How did we skip that part?
I don't know.
So Thor let himself go.
Yep, he became Santa.
I felt like in a way, like there's a character I could relate. It was Thor. I mean,
it was pretty funny.
I mean,
everybody started cracking up as soon as like, what?
This is a real thing. Like,
this is the one guy that the first Thor, his shirt comes off and it's like,
yeah, everybody's sexy Thor comes in. Oh yes, my Odin's cuff. And then he's there in his freaking Fortnite. He's screaming at some 12-year-old or something like that. I'll go down to your house. And it's like, yeah, but.
It was hilarious, though.
Talking about Wi-Fi passwords, drinking a beer. And it's like, he's totally all human now. And what happens to Thor? Do gods get fat? And yes.
Yes, apparently.
Yes, they do. I relate to him because I feel like Thor now, I'm slowly
really
melting.
Oh, everybody lost a lot, but he really lost a lot.
Yes. I mean,
we're talking about mom, dad, early on, and then
the people he led.
Yeah, like all of his people when he was finally king. Then he lost his brother, who, he has a love-hate relationship kind of with him, but it was still his brother.
Your best friend, don't forget that part too, who's the gatekeeper. Oh, yeah,
and so, and then, of course, he, failed in his mission to save everybody else. And, so.
Which, aiming for the head. And yes, that did definitely eat him up. Also, there was a lot of reasons that he just, it fell down from grace. And Rocket was the pillar for Thor, which, trying to kind of be that guy, get it together. He lost his family, too. And that's what. Yeah. What Rocket was kind of saying, we all lost something. You're not alone here. And when he fell hard. Just bodies down, whatever. And just, I definitely feel for his situation. It's kind of jumping back and forth there, but you gotta mention that moment because that one was definitely a scene. You see the belly, the CGI belly.
Yeah, it was, you could tell that it was really fake, but it was still really funny. And sad, but funny.
Yes. A sad reality. And then you have their Hulk, being this dude, let go of me.
Yeah. You do not want to mess with me now.
I can definitely kick your ass. Yeah. I don't have to try.
Yeah. So anyhow, okay, so now going back to they're all getting the Infinity Stones, and we see a lot of different things going on during that time frame. Meeting up with characters in the past and,
I do want to say this. If we feel like we're leaving stuff out, because actually while I was talking...
it's a 3-hour movie.
Exactly. We're not covering 3 hours, all together. During the podcast, sorry, the Twitch thing that I was on with a couple of friends, they're I was there with, I'm trying to put his name out, Wes the Wanderer. And he was like, yeah, we forgot this scene, and part of the thing, we're not covering everything.
Yeah,
you can go see the movie.
Yeah.
Where we are just hitting those other points and stuff like that, those talking points.
Points that stood out to us, I think.
Exactly. So,
because different parts are going to stand out differently to everybody. Plus, I mean, I'm not going to remember every aspect of it either.
Yeah, I'm going to be listening to other people who talk about it too, so I can get those other aspects, because we're going to.
Maybe I missed.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. We're going to be rewatching this movie, so yeah, the first go. This is part of the conversation. You can look for just other Easter eggs that are out there and things to talk about, like, oh yeah, that may have been interesting, and yeah, that was done kind of fast, and like this, we're just putting spotlights on certain areas. The movie is out for a reason to go watch that, so we're not covering everything.
No.
And
so yeah, but as time travel will do, as if you've seen any time travel movies or read any time travel books, things get really messed up.
yes. This is where most like plots go. Like, wait, but if they did that, then this would change.
I mean, pretty much with time travel, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah,
because nobody knows.
I did like the scene with Hulk and I cannot think of her name, and I will not try.
Doctor Strange's mentor. Yeah,
exactly.
That woman.
Yeah, and it's at that whole point of like, wait, he said to do this, and like at that point, they're like, did you already know what happens to you? And maybe she already does. She does have the time stone. She already knew her moment was coming, and she said something about a mistake that I made. Like, ooh. Does she already know what was going to happen during that time? And, a lot of that's kind of there for debate. And I'll try to remember this one point for later on when we talk about that. Are we at the point where they got back? When everybody got back? Or
yeah, that works.
All right. So during that, actually, you know what? There is another part that's very important. Not Gamora. Nebula, for some reason, and I thought this was kind of a weird thing on the networking side, but since she still have her brain kind of connected to herself at the current time, they start sending mixed messages to each other.
Yeah, that one was definitely a huge plot hole, I think.
Yeah, this is
because I mean, like, computers don't really quite work that way, but all right, fine.
Maybe their computers did. I don't know. That would have been some kind of weird.
Like they have Wi-Fi capabilities apparently.
And I guess if two were there, that they would just kind of error each other out. That's kind of a weird. We'll call it
glitch.
Yeah, I mean, you would have a fail-safe in some way, collision detection. I from my own technical standpoint, I don't see how that would happen. Now, as someone who doesn't understand tech at all, they're like, oh, of course something would happen weird because they're both in the same place, you on some kind of unique network that's in the future. Partner's like, but you would have a fail-safe for that because we do that now. But anyhow, with that, that's when Thanos learns that, oh, okay. They did this. There was a conversation. I got my head chopped off, but I won. But yeah. So this is a
different time Thanos.
Yeah. What was the word he said? This was ordained, or this was predetermined, or
no, I don't remember the word.
Yeah, it was some word he said, and I cannot think of it. But he just
inevitable.
Inevitable, yes. And I think that just gave Thanos just all the confidence in the world. Where I don't even think he had that in Endgame. Well, not Endgame. Sorry, Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
When we heard inevitable, it's like that just changed his character just a bit. So he was not just Thanos, but he was cocky Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, I already won this war. They're already getting the stones for me. I already know the plan. We're gonna go there.
We're following them.
Exactly. I don't have to kill Gamora. I don't have to, do all this work. It's already going to be in the glove. I don't need to get the glove.
Well, yeah, because at that point they hadn't even gotten one in Infinity Stone. So
yeah, and like they're just pulling it all together too. And this is before a lot of before, what do you call the group that Rocket's in and everything?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy's all together. So Gamora.
Yeah, because Gamora was still bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was way before all that.
Which who knows is going to happen now, because now bad Gamora is in the current universe and not a part of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not fully bad though, so.
Not fully bad, but still.
She was bad with a conscience.
But still, who's now the leader of that whole group with
Nope.
Yeah, you're right, because they're all gone.
Yeah, okay, so we're skipping again.
Oh my god. Yeah, so yeah, that's crazy.
Anyhow, now now Thanos followed them back, and
no, not that part. The glove. We got to talk about the glove part.
Oh, okay.
So Hulk tries on the glove. It puts on the glove, and the glove nearly destroys him. Like, well, just putting it on so he can make that snap, and then everybody comes back, and then there's phone calls, and you finally get that moment with Hawkeye, and shortly right thereafter, then Thanos pops out.
Yep.
Like you get that small moment of
second of everybody's back, and then boom.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Whoa, wait, what?
Missiles launching, destroying the whole facility.
One thing that I wondered, okay, so they're all, underground trying to survive or whatever as the building is crashing around them and things like that. Where the heck did those weird morph dog thingies come from that were going after Hawkeye? Like, what were those?
I
was all of a sudden like, I felt like I was in Hunger Games, one of the Hunger Games movies. They had these like horrible crazy dogs and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on?
I mean, I guess that maybe they were in the missiles.
I don't know. Like, yeah, because, at that point, Thanos hadn't taken out all of his men yet. So, but they must have been a part of his crew because,
Yeah, and they didn't show up anywhere else. But
I know,
I do think
that was it.
I think at this portion, this is when they were just getting in there. Because I think this is when a lot of collections of a lot of the plot holes were all collected, just kind of put in there. I mean, there's the time travel portion where there's a lot of plot holes there. Here's where you see a lot of others. And there's also finally the moment when there's two Nebulas and Gamora, and they're having that conversation. And Nebula already knows, we know I was a freaking bitch, and just shot herself. And it's like this. I was going to kill everybody.
So the bad Nebula, who, I don't know, is the bad Nebula was going to shoot Gamora. And so the better Nebula that we had been,
the older Nebula,
the one we knew, shot her other self. So, yeah, it's really confusing. But you watch it and you'll know what the heck I'm talking about.
Exactly. And
so yeah, and then we, Thanos is just kind of like chillaxing while all this chaos is going on, and then we see the main three. Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor just kind of watching Thanos and going like, they're kind of looking at each other and they know like, damn it, we gotta go in there.
Yeah, in a way there was a little bit of like this emotion to actually start. Okay, give me a second. We're gonna put a quick pause, and it's gonna sound like a weird blip of us coming back. But in 3, 2, 1, we'll be right back. And like magic, we are back. like we didn't even leave. So they're all rushing in. Well. I think in a way there's yes, they got to go back because they all finally collect themselves. Rocket almost dies.
Well, I mean, at this point, the only ones that for sure are out, safe from the crumbling building, are Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. And as they come out of there, they see Thanos, and it's like, okay, we just brought everybody back, and now we got to deal with this guy again.
Yeah, and it's not like they're all in shit. Well, except for Captain America, but with Thor, he's not himself. He's ready to go again, but he wasn't the same guy 5 years ago going after him.
Yeah.
And I guess Tony is still ready to go because this is it.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean they rock it, and you get.
Well, they start fighting, and and then there was a scene that everybody just started like applauding and cheering, and I was kind of going like, "What? I don't understand what just happened." You know what scene I'm talking about?
Oh yes. Who grabs the hammer? Of course, someone, and it was right at that moment when the tables had turned. You have Thanos over Thor, and just like before, has the axe right towards the chest, and is about to cut into the armor of his chest, and then you see the hammer just fly out of nowhere, and everybody was thinking probably, okay, Thor's trying to get the hammer so he can knock him off him, try to save him. No. Who gets it? It's frickin' Captain America. He's back. He has a hammer and shield, and you just hear
Thor.
I keep saying I'm thinking Loki for some reason.
Yeah, no, Thor. He was like, I knew it.
Yes, it was like, and he wields it just like Thor. He has the lightning and everything.
Yeah.
So that's.
And even with that,
yeah, still couldn't take him down. But yeah, that brought an interesting twist and turn to it. And eventually, of course, he gets knocked down, stabbed in the leg.
That is when we see the first fire ring that Doctor Strange does.
Before that.
No, that's not before that.
No, before that, you see the army starts coming out from Thanos. All of his guys start assembling, and then you start, the ships putting out like the little mini worm spaceships and everything. Everybody's lining up. You see his henchmen that was his right hand men. They're all there and ready to go. And like, oh no! And it's just the four of them. Which, of course, in the back of our minds, we were thinking, well, they did the snap, so everybody's back, right? So everybody's back, right? So you see the army assembling it. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the sizzle.
And Doctor Strange 2 years 6, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go. Yep. Or we got your back something. I don't know.
Exactly. And you seen T'Challa come through the portal, and everybody's just in uproar. Oh!
I mean, we got everybody coming through there.
Yeah, then more portals are coming up there.
The Valkyrie, all the Thor's people. What are their names?
Yeah. The army is we'll call it T'Challa's armies is showing up. You got Asgard showing up. You got a whole bunch of other people who hasn't been seen yet.
Spider-Man
in other films. Yes, showing up. That scene was just that.
I know, and it was so funny too, because as they're all coming through and everybody, yeah, it's awesome and everything. I'm going like, so do they remember?
Oh yeah, and Spider-Man just 3 months later, the son that was there, and then
I disappeared, and then everything went blank, so I'm not sure what happened. And of course, I'm like, they picked the perfect character because he just is like a blabbermouth.
Yeah, so we were wondering what was happening, and there he goes, so that's what happened. This is, all right, take notes quickly, grab your notepad.
So apparently they do remember.
and that was an awesome moment just to have there, and then when they all start running up against each other, it was just like you see. It wasn't like
Scarlet Witch was back.
Scarlet Witch was back.
Her. She's pretty cool.
There was a scene where before with the not Infinity Wars, but before that, and I cannot think of a lot of things right now because it's kind of late. But where the two Avengers had their sides and they were going after each other, and if you compare that fight with Iron Man versus Captain America to the comics, okay, it was pretty rinky-dinky. It wasn't like everybody was there. This one, everybody was there. Anybody and everybody was at there with the fight. And then there's the moment during the fight when Scarlet Witch which is doing a really good job against Thanos. Yeah.
No, she was beating him up like big time.
Yes, with vengeance. It's just
she could have taken him.
And then he calls out the ships.
He was about to die.
Yeah, he's like, just fire, but our men, fucking fire! Yeah. And the ships just start shooting down, and all of a sudden you see the guns stop. And then, what are they shooting at? They start shooting in a different direction.
Out into space, and it's like, yep, I knew.
Captain Marvel just comes up.
Yep.
Bashes a hole through the ship, and that's the moment. What I was saying before, it was just like seeing that moment with Darth Vader just slaughtering to people, but her just slaughtering to way more people throwing the whole ship down. You know, it was just amazing. And then like when the Thanos headbutts her, no shake, no movement, just nothing. He grabs the Power Stone and finally launches her halfway across, you know, planet Earth or something.
Yep. But you know, of course, earlier in the scene, you know, Iron Man had looked to Doctor Strange and was like, "Is this it? You said there was just one. Is this the one?" You know, he's like, "I can't." But if I tell you,
it won't happen.
Yeah. You know, so of course they're still trying to be like, "Oh, maybe this isn't." Like, come on, this is we know it's the one.
And you know, and then we call it what other things happened in there? There was finally the hug between Spider-Man and Iron Man.
That was cute.
We needed to have that closure moment. There was oh man, there was a lot in unpacking that in that scene.
Well, there was the whole like, you know, we got her back, where all the women pretty much come together and go with Captain Marvel, and you know, so yeah, you know, I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, and then finally, I guess you just have to say it. I still
think Scarlet Witch is like, she's badass. They need to give her a freaking movie.
That I would love to see a Scarlet Witch. That would totally do it horrible. He called it Scarlet Witch movie, because I mean, like, that's her with that angst and anger, and like she has a lot to be pissed off about.
Well, yeah. I mean, she might be back, but you know, her love is not.
Yeah, and so I guess we just got to say it. There's the moment when finally he knocks Captain Marvel off into, you know, I don't know, the next 3 seasons or whoever our next movie, and then, you know, he thinks he has it. There's this quick little tussle with Iron Man. Quickly blows him off. And then gets ready,
snaps.
And nothing happens. Which, by the way, let's go and stop this for a second. Thanos has this glove that was made by Tony Stark.
Yep.
Now, the other glove was made by by all the dwarves in space, and they had to get like these precious metals. It took all this time in order to make this incredible thing, and he kills them all off, and then you have to get this star involved, whatever.
Well, I mean, if anybody was going to beat them out, it was definitely going to be Tony Stark.
Yeah, Tony Stark, like, give me a second, I'll go and I'll make it in the oven.
I mean, he's the one who, like, in 1 second figured out the time travel thing in the beginning of the movie, like, you know.
Yeah, and then, like, when finally they had Hulk. Now, here's the part that I think is kind of interesting. Hulk grabs the glove, and then, you know, just putting it on nearly just, like, you know, destroys his whole left side. Then he snaps, and he survives that. Tony, and he, you know, finally gets the stones, because he was able to get all the stones, and they kind of crawl up to his arm. And then, you know, he is getting some damage too, because you know, he's getting damaged. But if it was in the rate of the friggin' Hulk compared to Tony Stark, a regular dude who's just really smart, I almost feel like that should have like melted him before he even got to snap anything. But, you know, still, like I said, I forgive all of the plot holes. I do. I just want to note that. I saw that. I noticed that. And then said his line, "I am Iron Man," which, like, what else would he say? It's what he said at the end of his first movie. Like, he's going to hide his secret identity. No, I am Iron Man. I am Iron Man. He goes out, snaps his fingers, and then, you know,
Thanos' whole army starts, you know, deteriorating. And
I like how Thanos is kind of, he has to accept he lost. That was his moment. Yeah,
I know. Like, we were sitting there going, like, our daughter, she was like, is he going to disappear? And I'm like thinking, oh God, please don't just leave him there as this whole, like, you know, oh, now you live with your failure thing. Like, no, that would be a bad idea.
No. He needs to go.
Yes.
we don't know. He is the guy who went through, and just talk about someone who just overpowers everybody.
Yeah.
Everything he just overpowered. And there was still a big chain of that happening even in this fight. I mean, you threw everybody at him, and he just dominated. So if anybody needed to go, he needed to go.
Other than Scarlet Witch, man, she could take him.
Oh, who knows? Then again, Thanos did go up against Scarlet Witch in the previous movie, and he still took her then. But he had the stones to help him out.
Yeah.
So, you know, But anyway, Thanos still need to go. He doesn't need any other tricks or whatever. And the stones...
But he did disappear, so we're good.
And the stones did not disappear.
No.
No, they did take him back into their time, so who knows where they are now.
Well, they're back. Well, they had to do that because, otherwise they would have messed up all those other time thingies.
Which means that all this can play again, technically. But not not getting into that. I think that would be a very lame movie to bring the gauntlet back again a second time. I think that would be a bad idea.
I think we're moving on now, and we've lost some pretty big characters in this. The people who died didn't get poofed. They're gone. Yeah.
And then Scarlet is Scarlet.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. I'm gonna keep doing this over and over again. Black Widow is gone, and it's a sad thing. I think this was one of the movies that there's a couple other later movies afterwards. The one you had a problem with, she just is like, oh, she's all sexy, but she started becoming a full fleshed out character.
Well, and apparently they're going to do a Black Widow movie, so I'm not entirely sure how they're going to pull that one off. But
whatever. It's definitely going to be a post-mortem.
Like a prequel.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a prequel.
Captain America or Captain Marvel's was a prequel too, so that makes sense. But it is a little weird timeline wise when we're already past this point to then do that. But whatever.
I think she does need a movie though.
I think that'd be fine. So and I want Scarlet Witch to have a movie too.
Yes. And of course, after the finger snaps, Tony is no more.
Yep.
He
really though, I don't blame Robert Downey Jr. because he's been doing this now for quite a while.
Yeah,
I think he was ready. I'm good. I'm done.
I did a really good job. I am now Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark and Iron Man, which will be etched on me forever,
right?
No matter what I do. And we'll call it. Then you have
Captain America is the one that he took it upon himself to bring all the Infinity Stones back to their right place at the right time.
And there was that short scene with the hammer there, so apparently someone got his hammer back. And there was also that word thing with when he said, "I knew it." So somehow in there, when Captain America brought back the hammer, somehow in there must have been he slipped up and got caught somewhere in there, because I just wonder if that was a hint and he knew when he went back in time to hand him back the hammer. Because just think about this. At the time they took the hammer, they did meet. So that during that timeline, because that was the scene where his mother was, that day his mother was going to die. So somewhere in there that day, all of a sudden, you see Captain America on, I can't think of the planet's name, but on your planet.
Asgard.
On Asgard, holding your hammer. No one else can wield this hammer unless they are the one holding your hammer and going, here you go, and then leaves. What? You're Thor? What the heck? How did Captain America? How did he get here? He's holding my hammer.
I'm pretty sure he probably tried to not, interact with people as much as possible.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that somehow he just kind of got a glimpse of him, and he's like, I know I saw him, but and then he left my hammer. I couldn't find it. And then what happened here? So there must be, they're going to play that somewhere. They're going to find out that, that's going to happen there.
But yeah, so, they wrap things up and, and also another one we're probably not going to see back is Captain America. Cause, he stayed with the love of his life.
Yeah. Well, I think that was awesome. From that, him never seeing her again.
And now Falcon will be Captain America.
Yeah. I think Tony Stark, in a way, yes, him going out, still got what he wanted. He ended off as a legacy. What better than being that? I am Iron Man, him going out.
Well, he was able to get everybody back.
He met up with his father.
And, he met up with his father. And he was also able to protect what he had found with his daughter and all that. So, he that was a win for him, Yeah. He was able to sacrifice himself for the better good,
and have that little bit of a life that Tony was talking about.
Yep. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, that's That's pretty much as that we want to tie up. There is so much more.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
There's just no way we can touch on all of it.
Yeah, we are. I'm just turning back and looking at where my timeline is of us having this conversation on the second time, because we already did the non-spoiler.
Yep.
And we're at right now 54 minutes of us just discussing this. And you're already seeing probably some more, because I'm probably at a little bit at the beginning, trying a little bit harder for this podcast world. But there is so much more, and it's impossible to cover. If you have not seen the movie, one, thank you for letting us wreck it for you. But do go see this movie, because even though there's so much more and we've probably wrecked a good bunch of it for you, you're still going to have a good time. It's
different seeing it. And it's one of those that you could probably see again and again and again and still be like, oh, I missed that part.
Yeah. You're going to have those water droplet moments there that it's still going to affect you. It's not going to stop that. Hopefully you're still getting surprised by something. But yeah, for those who've already saw it, like us, who's listening to this, hey, it would be awesome if you left a comment. Yep. Let us know what you thought about it. Tell us about what we missed, and maybe you should have said this. Who knows? Maybe I'll throw something together.
Also, make sure that you subscribe to us so that you can get more episodes.
Yes, please sub. We want subs. If you've gone this far, nearly an hour listening into us, and you haven't clicked that button, come on, click it for it. Do it. You know you want to. You know you want to hear more. And yeah, we're gonna have some. We have more to talk about. Maybe not on this movie. But unless you say something, we'll throw a little note in there. And if you do, you're going to get a shout out on the next podcast.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Well, everyone, take it easy.
You want me to say it that badly?
I don't know. I was just...
Okay. Laura's going to say it for us. All right. In 3, 2...
I already said it.
Well, I didn't.
Now you have to say see ya.
It didn't end it. Oh, you know what? You got to do for this one? You got to snap.